Welcome to the Aruba headquarters in Santa Clara, California. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here in the Aruba Customer Experience Center, and to all of you tuning in from around the world. My name is Jennifer Jolly, and today I have the pleasure of being your host for this event. There is some exciting news that folks here have to share with you today. But first, I'd like to welcome Kirti Melkote. He is the president and founder of Aruba. Kirti? Hello.
Hi, Jennifer. Great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know that you have been very busy. You've been cooking up some pretty cool innovations. A lot of people say they're cooking up innovations, but what I've seen so far, pretty impressive. What have you been up to?
Well, that's right, Jennifer. So for us, innovation at the edge is really at the heart of Aruba. And for the last 4 years since we came together with HPE, we have dialed up the innovation a notch. We have more investments. And in fact, to talk more about that and what we can help our customers do, I have a special guest I'd like to invite here. He's Antonio Neri, President and CEO of HPE.
All right. Well, Antonio, hi.
Hey, Antonio, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. Antonio, I am so glad to meet you today.
Thanks for having me.
Kirti mentioned that Aruba is really driving innovation sort of to the edge, but how do you drive innovation at such a quick pace without kind of falling off that edge? What's been happening here, and what's your shared vision together?
Yeah, I mean, the edge is an incredible opportunity for our company. In fact, when I became the CEO, I made a bold announcement that we will be investing $4 billion over 4 years to drive this innovation you will be talking today. And I'm pleased to be here because today is a major milestone where we'll be announcing some of that innovation. But first, we should start with what is the edge? What is the edge is all about? And to me, the edge is where we live and work. It's this place. The Executive Briefing Center is an example of that, where people, devices, and things all come together and connected to the network so that we can create experiences that are transforming the world. And this is where we also bridge the digital world with the analog world. And at the core of that is the data. And this is the opportunity for us, is to harvest the power of that data to create those new experiences to accelerate business outcomes. And so we made an announcement to invest $4 billion over the next 4 years. On a very comprehensive roadmap, and Kirti and I and the team have been on a journey here, and it started with the Aruba acquisition 5 years ago almost, and Aruba is the platform where we're building these new experiences. And so it starts with connectivity, and obviously we want to do connectivity with security in mind, and then ultimately is to drive this mobile-first, cloud-first approach. And so our strategy is to provide every type of connectivity for the different use cases we see. And obviously, whether you are in the entertainment business, we are in the hospitality business, we are in the manufacturing business, it requires different type of connectivity. Second is how we bring the cloud, as we know it, closer to where the data is. 75% of the data today is created where we live, where we work, not in the cloud. So how we bring that compute closer where the data is. And so we have been investing both organic and inorganically. So Aruba was the first inorganic, a very targeted acquisition. And since then, we have made other acquisitions like Raza Network, Nyara, Cape Networks to continue to build that portfolio. So I'm very excited. And I know today we have some exciting news we will announce here at this event.
Oh, thank you so much. And Kirti, back to you for a second.
Yeah.
You know, he mentioned that the world has gone digital. We know it's gone digital at such a lightning speed. And just back to that pushing to the edge, that concept, how have you done that so quickly? I mean, really in 2 years since the last launch, how have you done it so quickly and so well?
Well, so customers are at the heart of everything we do. In fact, we have a mantra we call customer first, customer last. And that's the guiding principle behind everything we do. And innovation is the same as well. And what we hear from customers, like Antonio said, at the edge, it's all about the experience, digital experience and business outcomes that really change the business for our customers. And if you look at what's inside that, mobile, cloud, and IoT are the key technology ingredients that go into creating these experiences. And what our customers are looking for is a way to do it even faster. which means they need better tools to automate what they need to do, and they need more intelligence from the data that is being generated at the edge. So what they ask us for is we need to do it faster, help us. And what gets in the way, honestly, for these customers is that their current operations are very fragmented.
Right.
They have a certain technology for their campus, a different technology for the branch, a third technology for the data center, and so on, right? So these siloed operations cause customers to slow down because they have to integrate past the silos. So what we decided to do was to really embrace that challenge and come up with an innovation that really allows our customers to unify the silos and giving them that automation and AI-powered intelligence at the heart of the solution. And 2 years ago, when we came together and announced, as part of the $4 billion bet, we introduced the Aruba 8400 series platforms with the new operating system called AOS Cx that was going to essentially revolutionize the switching landscape. And today, I'm very pleased to announce that we have now over 1,000 customers on that platform that we have grown, very, very successful. And we are, in fact, increasing our surface area that we can serve our customers with new platforms. We're going to be introducing 2 new platforms, the Aruba 6400 series and the Aruba 6300 series switches to complement the 8400 to go after campus access, branch access, and data center top of rack, all with a single ASIC architecture, single software architecture, and a single operating model behind it to really unify the fragmented operations. So we're super excited, as you can tell, to bring all this to the market.
It is truly a brave new world. Thank you for being right on the edge of it. Thank you so much, both of you, for being with us today and sharing your perspectives as well as your vision. And now let's all switch forward and head to the tech shop to check out some exciting new innovations, what we've all been talking about from right here at Aruba.
You've been working hard, trying to do more with less. Business is moving fast, from static to mobile, on-prem to cloud, users to IoT. You need to rethink your network. Decide when to make the switch. From vulnerable to secure, manual to automated, reactive to proactive, locked in to open. Meet the Aruba Cx switches, a modern cloud-native design with a single end-to-end architecture and built-in distributed analytics. It's time for a modern, intelligent network. Make the switch and switch forward with Aruba Cx.
Wow, that was amazing. Joining me straight from the tech shop, Tom Black. He is the SVP and GM of Switching. Hey, Tom.
Hello, Jennifer. Thanks for the welcome. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, that video we just watched gave us quite a preview of just what you're unveiling today, but what exactly are we looking at here?
So what we are looking at today, what we are unveiling, are the new models, new platforms in our CX switching portfolio. CX is a cloud-native portfolio built on AOS CX. Really, at its heart, a large piece of cloud software we happen to just ship in a box. It comes with a built-in analytics engine, so really by extending CX now all the way to enterprise wiring closet, core and ag, and data center use cases, and we have the ability to bring the advantages of advanced troubleshooting and automation analytics to every place in a customer's network. This reduces operational complexity, increases simplicity, and really helps people be more productive and get more of their network while future-proofing it for IoT workloads, Wi-Fi 6, and other new use cases that are coming up.
Man, it seems like you've thought of everything. Tell us a little bit more about them.
Okay, so let's talk about the chassis first. The 6400 is 2.8 terabits per slot. It comes with redundant management modules and pretty much every flavor of line card you can need. This really is a workhorse or a Swiss Army knife of chassis, if you will. Everything from 48 ports of 1 gigabit PoE at 30 watts to 48 ports of 5 gigabit smart rate PoE with 60 watts, 48 ports of 25 gig for server access or campus closet aggregation, 24 ports of 10 gig, 12 by 100 6300. So this switch is very versatile. It's built around our 7th gen chipset. This is a new non-blocking virtual output queued fully distributed architecture. And again, we're very pleased to see that this model can kind of go from campus access all the way into your data center and certainly handle the workloads and use cases in the middle.
Okay, so we get that the chassis is powerful, it's versatile, but what about stackable?
For the stackables, we've got the new 6300. The 6300 comes with 11 different models, everything from 1 gig PoE, non-PoE, and 24 ports, all the way up to 24 ports of 10 gig. In the middle, 48 ports of what we call smart rate or 5 gig PoE, so kind of a full set of interfaces. It also comes in two kind of major different form factors, if you will. Again, some with that modular and switchable power, some with integrated fans, but all of them can stack together. This is a really important key message. We've given you the ability to take everything from the highly available 48 port models down to maybe a fixed 24 port non-PoE and put it in the same stack. We can go up to a 10-member stack, and what's really innovative about this new set of products is this go around, we actually removed the modular uplinks. We decided to give customers for the first time built-in uplinks that really are investment protection for at least a decade to come. You've got 1 gigabit, 10 gigabit, 25 gigabit, and 50 gigabit software configurable, 4 on each switch. All you have to do is change a software command, and you can go from 10 gig to 50 gig, all in the same port. Again, full range of PoE power, BT, AT. Really, it's that full hardware package. But again, most importantly, it runs our AOS CX operating system, which gives you distributed analytics, automation, programmability at every place in your network now.
Okay, so you're checking so many boxes here, Tom, and I see all of the folks here in the audience nodding their heads in approval. What we haven't touched on yet, though, is design principle. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So from a design principles, we really start true north with the customer experience or the operator experience. So if you think about everything on these switches is kind of zoomed in from what it means to not just purchase them, but to really live with them day in, day out. So we decided to really take industrial design to the next level. And I'll show you a few of the small details that actually do matter to customers. Normally in most closet switches, a large switch like this, you access the power from the back. You want to plug it into the back. But if you need to swap one out, you've got to try to get behind a closet and get to it. This is a very new design in the 6400. You simply remove the bezel, and although the power cords come into the back of the shelf, you can actually just simply swap the front or swap the power module or replace one, upgrade it, etc., right out of the front. So no need to uncable, unrack, or squeeze yourself behind that rack. Additionally, we listened to people. We actually looked at people out fixing and repairing and working with devices, and we realized many of the modern campus switches, due to side-to-side airflow, had very large fan trays you had to try to extract from the switch in order to swap it out. So little things like the team did this go around was to basically make it, and you can see here, I'm not pulling much out. With less than 6 inches, you can fully swap a fan on the new 6400. So a lot of thought into the industrial design on the hardware. We'll see some demos later today about how easy it is to configure and bring these new products up.
What else is really under the hood there, Tom? I mean, I understand Aruba's been investing in its own chips for quite some time. What's the real advantage there?
Great, yeah, so we've been building our own silicon for almost 30 years. With very deep and rich history building powerful technology in Ethernet switching. These new products are built around 3 new chips that were produced in 16 nanometer technology. Basically a 14.5 crossbar chip or fabric chip that can be tiled up for very large chassis, as you see here. And then 2 new packet processors, or node chips as we call them. You know, rather than just keep talking about things in the abstract, maybe it's best just to show you. So what we have here is 2 of the new packet processors, 7th generation chips, that are in the 6400 and 6300 that you see beside me. Now, the little guy here tends to exist in every one of these 6300s or on the 1 gig line cards in the 6400. And then the bigger chip here, this is what we use in the multi-terabit line cards in the 6400. So just to give you a sense of how this technology matches up at an industry level, we'll talk about, say, the latest Intel Core i7. If you look on the internet, most people will benchmark it in and around 2 billion transistors in 14 nanometer. This chip right here, this is 10.5 billion transistors. Our littlest one is 3.3 billion. So just again, to kind of give you a sense of the level of technology, the level of the investment the organization has put into really delivering market-leading, very powerful silicon that is really the underpinnings for how we bring these products to our customers.
No doubt that is crazy powerful hardware, but let's talk a little bit about software.
Well, these run on AOS-CX, and really this is our software is our core differentiator. CX truly is a modern cloud-native platform. It is built around a microservice architecture, built around an in-memory state database, fully restartable processes, stateful switchovers, really all driven through the computer science architecture of the product, not through a bunch of legacy techniques or approaches to how you build a modern, highly available distributed system. Built into AOS-CX is the network analytics engine, and this is a really important part of why customers have embraced CX so strongly in the last 2 years. Network analytics engine gives you the ability to take either our curated agents or write your own and deploy deep monitoring, visibility, telemetry, and even remediation at every hop of the network now that you can get NE all the way out to the closet. Additionally, if you think about some of the things customers are trying to solve around programmability and automation, we've really taken that to the next level. Because this is fully a cloud-native stack, we actually use the build process of the source code to generate 100% REST API coverage off the database schema that is in AOS-CX. So this isn't a partial API coverage or partial programmability. This is full 100%. If we can program it, you as an external operator can program it using the same interface. Very, very happy to bring this entire package together, this cloud-native stack, and really wrap it around, it's to the most modern, leading new chips that we've got in our industry.
So Tom, you're saying that the market should now think of Aruba switching as cloud-native?
Absolutely, Jennifer. So if you think about our view on cloud native and cloud native software, it's really how software is designed and built, not necessarily where it runs. And as you look at large cloud applications and cloud native software, one of the most important characteristics is that they're highly resilient. And one of the things we've proven to the market this year, if you look at all three of our large customer events in venues in the United States, in Europe, and in Asia, during every large customer conference this year, we have demonstrated a hitless upgrade of the main conference hall while the keynote is going on. We took a very brave step and did a live upgrade, hitless upgrade, to prove to everybody that our cloud-native software, using our VSX technology, truly has availability characteristics unlike anything else in the industry. In addition to that base high availability platform and cloud-native design principles, what you get with release 10.4, which is the shipping release for these new products, is 143 new access features plus a whole continuance, if you will, of regular data center and core and egg features, because this guy right here will definitely be deployed in core and aggregation.
Tom, earlier you mentioned that Aruba's intent is to enhance the network operator experience. So how is this latest release truly delivering on that vision?
Release 10.4 that ships with these products really continues to build on our obsession with improving the network operator experience. We've talked a bit in our chat today about the network analytics engine, and the important point with 10.4 and these new products is you now have the ability to put the most advanced troubleshooting and monitoring, if you will, real-time probe directly into your network end to end, from a wiring closet to core and aggregation, all the way into data center. In addition to Network Analytics Engine, we've built a tool called NetEdit, which came out about a year ago. NetEdit, you can think of it as a tool that lets you automate the most common complex tasks as a network operator, whether it's making change configurations within a tight window that adhere to policy and conformance, being able to multi-edit many devices, or really change network state all at once, and again keep an audit trail of all that change and understand how that integrates into your operations as an operator. In order to improve on already what we have with NetEdit, we're coming out with NetEdit 2.0 in the fall. And here to talk about NetEdit 2.0 is my good friend Steve Brower from Product Marketing. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Tom. Glad to be here. So I want to start by just highlighting a few of the cool innovations that we're bringing out to market around enhancing the operator experience. The first thing I want to showcase is setting up a stack using our VSF technology with these 4 switches here.
Wait a minute. Okay, so I've done this before. Where's the old PC with the serial port and the manual? Because stacking is kind of complex. We got to make sure the uplinks are the right primary and standby and the stack.
Yeah, there's a lot of complexity under the hood, but I'm going to show you how we made it very simple for a next-gen operator experience. So what I've done here is I've actually wired up these switches using the integrated 50 gig ports and using direct attached cables.
So 200 gig stack ring.
Yep, absolutely. 200 gigs of bandwidth, and I've created a ring topology. So each switch is connected to the next member, and then the bottom one is connected back up to the top. So what I'm going to do here is show you using my mobile app, and I'll pull that up right here, the Aruba CX mobile app, just how easy it is to do an initial configuration for a stack such as this. So in our app, you see here, I've already connected my phone via Bluetooth to this stack master here at the top. And you can see here on the main screen, you have the option to do initial configuration, or you can even go in, pull up the console, or do some deep down manual configurations, pull up configuration templates. So there's a lot of power here built into the mobile app. But what I want to showcase is how we've made stacking easy. And so what I want to do is choose initial config. So imagine, a technician or someone who's not so technical out at a remote branch office site having to bring up a set of switches. They could use this app to easily deploy that configuration so that the central IT department can start managing it.
So we've thought through kind of that installer persona versus that network operations control persona, what they each need out of it as a deployment or change management window.
Absolutely. Okay. And both of those groups would find value in the app. There's a lot of capability here. So once I'm on this initial configuration screen, it gives me the option to configure a standalone switch or go into a stack. And so obviously here I want to do a stack. And so what's happening now, and it's pretty cool, the app is actually going out using Bluetooth and BLE to communicate with each stack member and identify them. It's also getting neighbor information via LLDP, the switches are, and then sending that back to the app. So the app has all the information it needs to understand what devices are in the stack, what the topology looks like, whether it's a ring or a chain. The other cool thing you can do is you can actually toggle here the LED on any one of the stack members and quickly identify which device you're talking with. And so, as you can see here, the LED is flashing on the stack master. I'll go ahead and turn that off. And from here, all that's necessary to configure the stack is to hit configure members. And once that happens, the configuration in just a matter of seconds is uploaded to all of the stack members, and it says it's going down for a reboot, and once these come back up, they'll be ready to deploy into the network. It's that simple.
Fantastic. So with an app, an installer easily can deploy, validate the net edit and the app working together, know what the config was supposed to be, so you securely and safely kind of leave that site knowing you've done your job without any fancy cables, SNMP, CLI, just an app on a phone.
Absolutely.
Great.
And so you're really eliminating the chance of making mistakes, errors, setting up which this is the right stack member, master, all those configs that administrators are typically used to doing with the initial configuration, making it super simple through the app.
Thank you. Great.
Cool. So the second thing I want to show you, and you talked about this, is NetEdit 2.0. And I want to show you guys some of the cool innovations we're bringing out with NetEdit 2.0. So here you can see we've built a new topology view in NetEdit. And it has a lot of robust capability to visualize your network, the entire network. And so you can visualize our CX switching line, but you can also visualize other devices, third-party devices, and our wireless controllers. So here in this topology, you can see I have a core CX, 4 core CX switches, aggregation switches in each building, and access switches in each building. And I have 3 buildings here, and a wireless controller. And so the scenario I want to show you here today is a scenario in which we want to onboard a whole bunch of new IoT devices onto the network. And as you know, IoT devices can be insecure, inherently insecure. So we want to make sure that these devices, if they're ever compromised, can't really communicate with other devices on the network, or even communicate with each other and infect other devices, right? So we're going to take a micro-segmentation strategy across our network for these IoT devices.
Okay.
And so, and you're familiar with the Aruba ClearPass?
Absolutely.
So I've already preset my policies in ClearPass for these IoT devices, and all that's left to do is establish a dynamic segmentation tunnel between the switches that these devices are connected to and our controller.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this right. So as a network operator, I've gone into ClearPass and I've just set a policy for a certain device type. It doesn't matter where the device shows up on the network, but it saves the policy what we're supposed to do from a networking perspective when we see that device.
Yep.
Now, following best practices, I want to use secure microsegmentation as a way to isolate this IoT device.
Yep.
And so I'm going to use Aruba's, our dynamic segmentation technology, to do this. And you're going to take me through what is a very complex process, and I'm sure I'm going to struggle here.
Absolutely. And I'll just add the other advantage of using dynamic segmentation is we're going to get the ability to send this traffic through our policy enforcement firewall. So we get that layer 4 through 7 firewall and visibility in case any of these devices are ever hacked or there's malicious activity, who they're talking to, we can get that kind of visibility and protection. So I'll show you just how easy it is to do the config. So I'll go ahead and here, I know my devices here are connected in building 1 to the first floor switch, and I'll select that. And then I'll just go simply here to the context menu. And we have this new thing called deploy solution. And I've loaded a few solutions in here for the demo, and I'm going to go ahead and select dynamic segmentation. And once I select that, you see I get a nice GUI-driven menu, or wizard you could call it, to set up this solution. And for this particular solution, all I really need to do is input the location of our controller with that policy enforcement firewall. And I'll go ahead and do that and input the IP address. And then there are some other parameters in these solutions. Like in this one, for example, there's zone, heartbeat. Those all have defaults, so I don't really need to enter those values unless I want to customize the solution. Once I have that, all I have to do is hit create. And what's happening now is NetEdit is going out and generating the configuration that's necessary to go down onto the devices that I've selected. It's also validating the solution, which means it's checking all those parameters I entered, the controller location, zone, et cetera, and making sure that they can constitute a valid solution. The third thing it's doing is it's validating conformance. So what you can do with NetEdit is actually go in and preset policies for your network. They could be security policies, maybe common criteria, and it will always check whatever config changes you're doing against those parameters to make sure that the changes match the network policy. And the last thing it's doing is actually validating the configuration on the device itself. So now it's actually talking to the devices and ensuring that that configuration can be loaded onto those devices. So what's happening here is there may be platform dependencies, such as the operating system version, or if you're trying to push down a config for port 35 on a 24-port switch. Once that's all done, all I have to do is hit deploy, and now the solution has been deployed into those devices on the network. And what's really cool with NetEdit is we get this option for change validation. And so change validation, if I open that up here, you can see we have a series of show output commands from both the switches, but also the controller on the network. And so I can drill down into each one of those and show you that the previous configuration as well as the new configuration and the differences. And so we can do that both on the switch side, the 6300 here, and also down here on the controller side. And we can also validate that the tunnel has been up and established on both ends. So now if I just close out of the wizard here, you can see here on my topology view, that dynamic segmentation tunnel has been established between my building 4 switch and our controller. So it's just that simple.
So fantastic. So what you've just shown us is a single pane of glass that'll let you configure a secure IoT segmentation policy between a Cx switch and a stateful Aruba firewall.
Yep.
Fantastic. What else do you have for us?
Well, you talked a lot about NAE earlier, right? So I wanted just to give you a brief showcase of that. So we've actually integrated NAE, Network Analytics Engine, with all of our new switches and our existing Cx switches, and integrated that with NetEdit. So here on the topology view, you can see on every device we have a status indicator. And right now it's all green, just the way we like it in networking. And that's giving you a summarized view of your entire network health. But we actually go beyond network health. So here on the right side, you can see we have a bunch of agents that we've deployed in our network.
Okay, so wait, so this is really important. So rather than polling the network for issues and looking for things that may or may not be there, or rather than trying to set some sort of old school SNMP trap, what we've really done is we've deployed these agents everywhere that are part of the cloud native stack. And when they see something, so rather than again sending all the telemetry off the network, only when they see something, they'll report back in these basic categories that you have up here. So what I think I'm seeing is a network level view of all of these different agents and kind of their current state really summarized in the color. Did I get it right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really taking the power of that cloud native OS distributed on-box analytics, so we're not streaming telemetry to a centralized location, which has constraints. I mean, there's bandwidth constraints, there's latency constraints, and also you generally get less resolution because you can't send everything, right? But we have that powerful NAE on every box, so we're able to do that analysis on box and then just send up the most relevant information to NetEdit for the easy consumption by the network operator.
So how's my Salesforce traffic doing?
Well, so for example, one of the powerful things about this, and I was talking about the different agents that we have agents for application health, dynamic segmentation health, other network services, routing, and even the device health, right? And so this is a summarized view of all of those agents on each device. You can actually drill down to a specific one. So say, for example, you were having a problem with an application, like say you're getting complaints about Salesforce going slow, right? You could actually see, first of all, from our entire network view, where that service is being impacted, right? So it really helps you understand the impact of something that's going on in the network, so you can prioritize, how important it is to act on immediately. And so, for example, if Salesforce was having a problem on a particular floor or building, you could kind of automatically understand that probably is something going on with that specific location. And if you want to drill down, like for example here, I'll choose the third floor.
Oh, anyway, so it just jumped to that view on that device. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so the third floor, and I can drill down into that Salesforce application health agent and get some really cool data around what's going on. So now you're actually in the NAE agent on the box. And so here, we're using IPSLA. We're also, to ensure performance, we're also checking availability of the application with the TCP traffic.
So Steve, thanks for the demo today of NetEdit 2.0 and all the power and release 10.4. I think with that, Jennifer, we're going to hand things back to you.
Thank you so much, Tom. So now that you have seen all of this new tech, let's meet a couple of the Aruba customers who have already chosen Aruba CX switching for their next-gen networks. Joining me now, Dr. Zafar Chowdhury, CIO from Seattle Children's, and Mike Bullock, VP of IT from the Texas Rangers Baseball Club. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Dr. Chowdhury, let's start with you. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you do and why you're here with us today with Aruba Networks?
Thank you. So my pleasure to be here. I'm with Seattle Children's. Seattle Children's is a pediatric health system. We cover the largest geographical footprint of any pediatric facility in North America. We have 46 sites across 4 states, Washington, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho. And I am the Chief Information Officer for that organization. Basically, I run the IT shop.
Thank you so much for being here today. And let's turn over to you, Mike. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do with the Texas Rangers?
Absolutely. I've been with the Rangers since 2004. So I've been with the club for 16 seasons. Obviously, technology has changed dramatically in 16 years. So in my role, I'm responsible for all connectivity, switch network, Wi-Fi, cell DAS, for cloud and SaaS platforms, for storage and compute, for cybersecurity and application systems. So, and you may be aware we're building a new ballpark. So we've been busy for the last 2 years designing technology for a new ballpark.
Well, it's always so difficult in your industries to design forward, to think about what will be future-proof with this new technology. But let me in on a little bit of your world here on how technology has really played a role in helping you deliver the best possible experience, either to your patients and their families, or to the folks in and out of the stadiums. So,
with fans today in a stadium environment, there's an expectation of always being connected. Technology is no longer an amenity, it's an essential for a ballpark. And you brought up a great point. One of the biggest challenges, I think, today for technologists is envisioning the future and keeping up with just an incredibly fast pace of change. So we've done some creative things. We've really started with the fundamentals to make sure that we've dealt with things as basic as cable pathways, conduit, IDF closets, MDFs, cell DAS space. But we've also done some really innovative things with internet connectivity. We've actually got diverse internet connectivity, including a connection to Denver point of presence, so that we can actually survive a regional internet failure. I believe we're the first stadium to do that. So we've really invested time and effort in designing things that are not future-proof, but they're future-flexible.
I like that, future flexible. And Dr. Chowdhury, you experience a lot of those similar concerns and pain points, but you've got kids' lives at stake.
Yeah, absolutely. So in our environment in healthcare, there is a shift to being able to consume things yourself. So parents, caregivers, patients tell us that they want to be able to self-service more and have access to systems, booking appointments, talking to physicians and nurses. And on the flip side, the next generation of clinical person is more mobile friendly. So as we see these people evolve through our system, our internal customers, our doctors, our nurses, our allied health professionals, they want to be able to access systems at the point of care. So in order to prepare for that, we've had to have a serious look at how we deliver technology services. In addition to that, Seattle Children's is currently in the process of building and committing to research. So we're building a new research building in downtown Seattle. We're also adding a tower to our main campus. So we're growing, we're always full, and we have to automate more.
Thinking about how to expand in those ways kind of boggles my mind. And I know from a lot of people watching, you're constantly thinking about these requirements that you're going through and these boxes that you can check off when you're choosing and evaluating your network purchase. How did you land here with Aruba? Why did you choose this company?
So for me, it's simplification. So we're shifting from a world where technology function within an organization consistently hires more and more specialists, and we want to be able to be more agile and nimble in serving the people that we serve. So I always look for simplification. So as we started on our journey for our new research building, which we are calling Building Cure, because it's a building that will produce the new immunotherapy treatments for certain types of childhood cancer, we wanted to build a building that had a network, wired and wireless, that allowed us to be simple. We had a mobile-first strategy. We also knew that in healthcare, we are connecting multiple medical devices and devices to patients' homes, the sort of Internet of Things. We knew that we wanted to be able to collaborate, have researchers talk to other researchers across the world. So we wanted to have world-class video capability, sound capability, but we wanted to be able to manage all of that in a dynamic fashion. We wanted to be able to deliver those services 24/7, and we wanted to be able to live in an environment where we had zero downtime. But when you wrap that into healthcare, you also have the challenge of, well, how do we pay for all of that? So we looked at our strategy and said, we need to build a partnership with a wired wireless vendor who can not only give us a good total cost of ownership, but check our boxes around mobility, IoT, video, voice, and that zero downtime framework.
And that flexibility, that overall flexibility,
Absolutely.
that word that keeps coming up today. Mike, what were some of the specifics that you were looking for?
So for us, one of the key elements was network overlay. We needed to check that box, and for us, ClearPass was the compelling solution. We were really looking for an integrated solution and also the right vendor partner. So I think it was probably a year ago in September that I mentioned to Kirti that the HPE Aruba team really earned our business 8 years ago. During our World Series run in 2010 and 2011, they offered just outstanding service and support for us, and that's continued to this day. And you know, we also looked at Gartner Magic Quadrant, and to echo what Dr. Chowdhury said, we need the flexibility to be able to adapt to a demanding environment. You know, we have to be able to have the flexibility to deliver service not only for baseball games, but for soccer events, for concerts, for high school sports and college sports. And we can't accomplish that doing what we've done in the past. We really are going to be dependent on ClearPass to make that happen.
Well, how has Aruba switching with that AOS CX supported these specific requirements? And Dr. Chowdhury, we'll go back to you for this one.
So I think for sure, as we've built up our new network, we've seen that level of simplification, which means I have to hire and train less people. A lot of automation has gone in. I think technology to one side, it's a very good technology stack and we've been running it. It's also important that we, because we are in the people business, buy from people who care about what we do. And one of the other things we saw in Aruba that we didn't see with other vendors when we looked at this was that concept of people buy from people. And the mantra that Aruba has around putting the customer first really resonated with me and my team in terms of, will they support us? Will they take care of us? Will they make sure that the solutions string together and deliver the solutions that we need? So it's so far to date, and we're opening this building literally in a week. But what we found is during the build-out process, our network, our wired, our wireless, and the solutions that Aruba has helped us layer on top of that. So we're doing visitor management, we're doing conference room management as well as part of that automated stack. Was all delivered ahead of time with them truly understanding the problem we were trying to solve.
Incredible. How has this really played out for you?
So for the CX product line and VSX, we really expect that that's going to be a key element in our success with the resiliency and reliability that we're going to require in a stadium environment. We really expect that we're going to set records, and you often hear this when a new stadium is open in terms of the amount of data moved. But the most important thing is that we're providing a more immersive experience for our fans with social media and access to mobile apps and access to stats about the game, and to be able to watch the game in a way that's maybe new and different for a new generation of fans than what's been traditional with baseball. And we see that with the evolution of technology in stadium environments.
Is there anything else that you want to say to folks watching this today who might have more questions of what it's been like to go hands-on and really all in?
From my perspective, I would say that when you're embarking on a journey where you're trying to solve a series of problems, you want to be able to have a partner who you feel comfortable with, who will support you through the thick and thin. I sort of say building a partnership with a vendor it's like a marriage, right? You have more bad times than good times, but do you come out the other end and have those solutions? So for us, we've had that partnership with Aruba, albeit for a short period of time, and we know we will open our building to time and to budget from a technology point of view. We know we will service the researchers, and we know this network will build so that the researchers can develop the next generation of cures and hope for our children.
And Mike, any final words here before we?
So we've been really fortunate. Obviously, building a $1.2 billion stadium is a daunting task. We've had the great fortune to have just a tremendous supporting cast with our integration partner, with HPE Aruba. We're confident in all the technology that we're deploying, and with the help of the great resources we have from our partners and from HPE Aruba, we expect to deliver this on time and deliver a really spectacular experience for our fans.
Well, I thank you both, Mike Bullock, Dr. Zafar Chowdhury. Thank you both so much for being with us today, and good luck to both of you on your next
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adventures and adventures. Thank you so much. All right. And thank you for being here with us today. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I hope that you in the audience and all of you here have enjoyed seeing Aruba's latest CX switching platforms, technology, and the future of networking. I'm Jennifer Jolly. Thank you for watching.